Ciao from NX Padel. Today we are talking about a super hot topic about our courts. Today we are not explaining the advantages, the differences, why it's better, why it's like this, why it's like that. Today we want to explain once and for all the playability on the N1A plus 0S court. So we're gonna analyze what the ball should do when it bounces on the fiberglass mesh, on the ComfortGlass, and on the 0S. Let's see in detail. Before everything, anticipation. Every component of the court, the turf, the glass and the structure, perfectly follow exactly the parameters given by the International Padel Federation. So everything can be homologated. So first thing first, once again, honestly, the mesh, the fiberglass mesh. The crucial thing about the fiberglass mesh is that it's a copy and paste on the design, so the thickness, the size, etc., from the IPF manual. So the bounce of the ball here, first thing first, cannot be tested. So there is not a paper saying this mesh can work, the other mesh cannot work. The important thing is to follow the parameters, and these meshes perfectly do it. Why you cannot do any test? Because the bounce of the ball must be random. So when I impact, the ball can go up, down, left, dive, slow, fast, doesn't matter. So the playability here is exactly the same as required during a normal match play on old-fashioned paddle courts. There are advantages also in this case. For example, here, usually on iron courts, or you have something to cover, or anyway it's dangerous because it can detach, and it's risky when you're running because maybe you impact. In this case, it's a fully safe area, and here you have the same bounce as here because there's nothing flat in front. Of course, it's better with fiberglass mesh because when I'm playing, I'm running, bam, I impact and I do not get hurt. So it's even better. Now we talk about ComfortGlass. When it comes to parameters from the federation, there is not so much in the manual. But the important thing for this surface, it can be any type of material, transparent or not. But the main thing is that the bounce is uniform and consistent, nothing else. So here, the bounce is uniform and consistent, but we were not enough satisfied with this regulation. So we tested out. We perfectly compared the 12mm tempered glass, so the common used glass on Padel Court, with our ComfortGlass. And the results with the lab, with the engineers, etc., so official test, came up that the bounce is exactly the same. So the distance the ball does from the ComfortGlass to the other area is the same as on a 12mm tempered glass. Now, of course, also in this ComfortGlass case, advantages are way more compared to old-fashioned paddle court. First thing first, elasticity and safety like nothing else in the industry. Last but not the least, actually, probably the most important area and component of the court when it comes to playability is the turf. In this case, the 0S. 0S, of course, as you already know, it's the first ever paddle carpet with 0 kilos of sand, blah, 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 blah. In this case, the federation give you specific parameters when it comes to bounce, to grip, to different numbers. And of course, before putting in the market this revolutionary carpet, we tested it out with the lab. So we already have the test, and the results are perfect in line with the parameters of the federation, officially. But also in this case, playability is way better. Let me give you some examples. Definitely, when I say better playability, the main reason is, of course, the absence of sand. Why? Because usually when you play, you stay mainly, let's say, in this area. You don't play often close to the mesh, in the corner. You play mainly in the center of the court. So what does it mean? It means that if there's sand here, after a certain period, there will be less sand compared to other area, because you move and of course the sand moves, apart from maintenance, problem, etc. But here the bounce won't be the same as here, for example. With 0S, considering you don't have to spread the sand, and anyway, also if you do a perfect installation, in time the sand will be moved, you have zero issue when it comes to bounce differences on the 0S, because in the corner here, exactly in the corner, or in the middle here, nothing changed, with a perfect bounce everywhere. Other example, for sure, while you were serving during a match on a normal synthetic turf, you are preparing your serve, your routine, and you bounce the ball on the line. I'm 100% sure, majority of the time, the ball would have taken a strange bounce. It's normal, I mean, it's a defect, let's say, but it's something you cannot change with synthetic turf. Why? Because here, on normal synthetic turf, you have glue and tape below, while here you don't. With 0S, everything, lines included, are at the same level, because everything is glued to the ground, so it's perfectly smooth. And here is at the same level as here. So even in the worst scenario, which is here, where you have 5 or 6 different joints, the ball bounces perfectly straight, flat, and while you're serving, you have zero issue. Perfect bounce literally everywhere. So, fiberglass can be compared exactly on an iron mesh when it comes to bounce. ComfortGlass can be compared and tested with the 12mm tempered glass. 0S, to give you a reference on the playability, you can compare to a texturized monofilament. So when it comes to grip and speed of play, you can compare to a texturized monofilament. I hope we clarified any doubts or questions about the playability on our revolutionary courts. I repeat once again that everything is based on the IPF parameters and can be certified for your own padel club. If you want to discover much more in detail each numbers and specification of the mesh, etc., we have a video specific on the IPF parameters applied to our courts. As always, experience padel to the fullest.